effects of this Ghanaian-owned plane in Iran? Does this really have any effect?
Well, I really can't see how it can affect the relationship we have with the United States of America. Mind you, we have a long-standing relationship with them. In fact, which predates independence. And if people can understand, the U.S. also contributed, to some way towards the liberation of many African countries, because they themselves were under the, if you like, the rulership of Great Britain. And therefore, at the time that Ghana indeed was struggling to liberate Ghana and also liberate many African countries, they took a position. They were not directly involved in that, but their position was very clear in support of countries that wanted to politically liberate themselves. To that extent, a minor incident like this cannot dent the relationship that exists between us. And most importantly, it has to do with a business entity, a company that is Ghanaian owned or that is operated in Ghana, that has its flight in the United States of America, registered there, and happened to find itself in Iran. I really can't see how it can dent our relationship.
Now, establishing the fact that this is a private business and owned by a Ghanaian, has the president ever gone on board the plane?
First and foremost, I believe my response this afternoon would bring to rest this whole issue, and those who would continue to talk about it will only be doing that with the intention of mischief. Let me categorically state that His Excellency the President never boarded that flight, not even this journey. He has never boarded that flight, and I think it's important we put it in perspective. It is also important for us to understand that this is a jet that is owned by a company whose chief executive happened to be the brother to His Excellency the President. And mind you, it is owned by the company. And this jet was registered in the United States of America. And any jet that is registered in the United States of America would have an American flag, which is the title. They call it the flag nation. This jet happened to find itself in Iran for a business purpose. And I think it's important for us to state this. Now, the Iranian authorities indicating that on board the plane had some top government officials. It is significant for us to also set the records very straight. There was only one Minister of State in that jet, in this case, Honorable Dr. Mustafa Ahmed. And Honorable Dr. Mustafa Ahmed was on the jet for his private issues entirely. And in fact, he sought permission from the Chief of Staff, and the records are there, that he was traveling, and it was a purely private matter. So if you have a Minister of State who indeed traveled with the jet and sought permission from the Chief of Staff, and the permission was granted that he could travel on his purely private matter, I can't fathom with any assertion that this plane was a plane that was full with government officials. So if the Iranian authorities say that the plane indeed had top government officials in it, yes, it can be understood, and it can be understood because you had a Minister of State in it. And
of course, and definitely you did mention that he sought permission.
Permission, absolutely.
Looking at issues and controversies surrounding matters like this, couldn't he have gone with any other apart from this?
What if indeed the private matter he was indeed going to participate in it involved those who were going on such a trip? And I think that let's get something very clear. There is absolutely nothing wrong with any Minister of State who would want to
especially
embark.
Knowing that that plane is owned by the brother of the president.
If the plane was owned by the brother of Nana Addo or President Kufuor, what would have been the matter?
But issues always come up, and people would always want to associate these matters when they crop up.
But I agree, but we should associate matters that indeed are convincing and make sense. The fact that the plane belongs to a company...
You think it doesn't make sense?
Absolutely it doesn't.
Why are you saying so?
Let me give you a scenario. You work at TV3, and your brother happened to have a flight, and TV3 has a problem with, let me just say, GTV. Your brother has a flight. The flight is embarking on a business trip, and then not even you, someone who is also working here, and happen to be an employee of TV3, decide that he has to go possibly on that same trip.
But you can't compare my work to a Ghanaian official.
Let's come to Ghanaian
that
official.
That is a government official. Mine would be very minimal, but a government official's matter is of relevance and importance.
I wanted to give an analogy, but if you want me to stick to government official, let's stick to that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with any government official who is embarking on a private matter and happen to have boarded a flight which is owned by a company, and the chief executive of that company happened to be the brother of His Excellency, the President. There is absolutely, and I say this with emphasis, nothing wrong with that. What is significant is the fact that that said minister sought permission from the chief of staff. The laws of this country doesn't preclude any minister of state to embark on a private trip. Nothing prevents such a person. But you know why? This thing has become an issue because the chief executive of the ownership of the flag, which happened to be engineers and planners, happened to be the brother of the president. Ironically, the media in this country were absolutely, up in arms when the issue of the bank came, to the extent that people held press conferences and mentioned these monies have been paid. The media is in a complete state of incommunicado. If they are so much concerned about the people of this country, they will be demanding the other individuals and businesses who own Merchant Bank the 70%. Why is it that nobody talks about that? I'm coming. I'm saying this because this effort that is fruitlessly being put to achieve absolutely nothing but mischief. I'm saying that why is it that everybody is quiet about it?
If indeed we believe in putting the truth out there, that's why we have brought you here. But doesn't mean that if the media doesn't call on you, you won't also come up.
I'm not saying that
you are in charge of information and media relations.
It is significant.
And the media, I can say, is at your beck and call, because anytime the ministry does organize a program, we rush there. So if you think that the media was indeed playing mischief, why won't you play your role as a minister to come up with the issue?
I think that you have misunderstood my statement completely. My issue of the media being mischievous on this has got nothing doing with only this matter. I made references to the engineers and planners and merchant bank issue.
But we're not talking about that issue now. We're talking about the flights issues regarding a Ghanaian official, issues regarding the president on board the flight, which you have emphatically stated that he has never used that flight.
It is significant for me to make reference to that. And if you listen to me carefully, I said that this one has become an issue because it involves the brother of the president. And I made references to the bank issue that this same brother...
But this issue hasn't come up.
It doesn't need to come. And I believe that when we are having such discourse, it is important for me to put it in perspective. Now, having explained and established the facts as they are, I'm making references to another matter. That look, this was the same person who is a businessman who got a loan under a previous administration, and that this became an issue. I'm saying that the media is hyping this. Why is it that the media is not concerned about money?
Because a Ghanaian minister, a Ghanaian official was on board it, and the president was mentioned about it. But I'm sure we'll have to end it here. Is there anything wrong with the Ghanaian official boarding that flight? Your clarifications very clear. He did say that allegations surrounding the president ever going on board that plane is not true, and the minister or Ghanaian official who was mentioned to have been on board that plane was specifically a private matter, not on government issues. But I have been speaking with Mohamed Murtala. He is the Deputy Minister for Information and Media Relations regarding Ghanaian jets that stop at Tehran.